We see in Syria and Iraq an extremely complicated conflict. Looking at what's going on in Iraq first, when the United States says that compared with ISIS's high water mark of September 2014, it has lost about a third of its territory, that US assessment is credible. It's been slow work, and part of this has been the need for the US to help the Iraqi security forces rebuild their capability. But there's no doubt that the recapture of Ramadi in Iraq has been decisive. It's shown, albeit with immense coalition air power, that the reorganised and retrained Iraqi armed forces are capable of pushing ISIS out of a town that they were fighting for the death to defend. Now, we can expect slow progress to continue in Iraq, and Mosul, the city in northern Iraq, will be a very difficult nut to crack. There are some difficulties on the Iraqi government side. It's friction with the Kurdish assembly, the fact that both the Kurdish government and the Iraqi government have suffered a major revenue loss because of the fall in the price of oil, and also the fact that Iran and the Shia militias that Iran sponsors don't have the same aims as the Iraqi government or the US-led coalition. They're basically about building their own power base within Iraq. And Prime Minister Abadi has a very difficult job to do if he's to persuade the Iraqi Sunnis, who are giving active or passive support to ISIS, to change sides and throw in their lot with the Iraqi government, because it was the dissatisfaction of the Iraqi Sunnis with the previous government of Prime Minister Maliki that was part of the seed corn for ISIS. Turning to Syria, well, there has been progress. The Syrian Democratic Forces, the Arab and Kurdish forces that have been armed and supported by the US, have definitely made progress in central Iraq. But of course the war is very complicated, and what's changed the balance over the last year is that the Syrian government, which was almost on the ropes a year ago and was losing ground, and its army was running out of manpower, and the support that Iran and Hezbollah were giving it was inadequate to reverse this decline. Of course, the Syrian government has received this support from Russia, particularly the airstrikes, that has enabled it to hold its territory and actually start pushing back. Now, I don't think you could expect the Syrian government forces to reconquer all of Syria, partly because their strength has been so eroded. But what we do see is a very shifting strategic balance in which much of the Syrian government's offensives and Russian airstrikes has been focused on the non-jihadist opposition. So resolution of the conflict in Syria is going to be very problematic.